Hello everyone. Today we're looking at linear graphs, interpreting the equation y is equal to mx plus c. So in this session, we're going to be looking at three things. First of all, identify the gradient and the y-intercept in the equation. Secondly, we're also going to learn how to calculate the gradient and how to find the y-intercept. Now, knowing these, we should be able to construct the equation of a line. So what is the equation that represents every line? So general equation of lines. That is given in the form of y squared 2mx plus c. And what is m? M represents the gradient of the line. We got a formula for working out the gradient, and this is given as rise over run. And let's look at it from a drawing point of view. You got a triangle that's being drawn under the line. We got the rise, the vertical side of that triangle, and we got the run. We can also have situations where the line is going downhill, and we call that a drop. As you can see, we have a drop and we have the run. But you've got to make sure that when you calculate the gradient, it's the drop over the run. Now let's move on to C. What is C? C represents the y-intercept. And let's look at where y-intercepts exist. Now on the grid, you can see the axis drawn, and we have now a line, okay, the blue line. And guess where the y-intercept could be? Yeah, that is where the line crosses the y-axis. Let's look at another scenario. Now, this line at the bottom crosses the y-axis, and let's see where the y-intercept should be, exactly where the point of intersection is between the line and the y-axis. So now let's work out some numbers. As you remember, the equation of line is y squared 2mx plus c, and m is the gradient. So let's look at example. So in this case, the rise is equal to 3, and the run is equal to 4. So by definition, rise over run gives you the gradient. So the gradient m is equal to 3 over 4. What about the line that goes downhill? So it's drop over run. So for this one, we got the run equals to 2 and the drop is negative 6. Going down is negative, going up is positive. So what will the gradient give me? Drop over run is equal to negative 6 over 2, which can be simplified to negative 3. Let's see how we can work out the values of the y-intercept. So C represents the y-intercept, as you know. Okay, we got our graph ready with the numbers now. So this first line goes through the y-axis, and guess what the value of the y-intercept is? Yes, you're right. It is C equals to 2. Let's look at another line. Here we go. And the y-intercept is, yes, that's right, C is equal to minus 3. Now, we are going to now learn how to actually work out the values through some practice questions. Okay, let's look at how we could work out the gradient. Now, I'm going to show you a trick here. We're going to make use of crosshairs or cross lines. Okay, so every line must have a starting point and an end point for the cross lines. Okay, crosshairs. So let's see how that works. Okay, first of all, first crosshairs, and let's draw them first of all, and then we're going to draw our triangle below the line here. And don't forget, this is going to be the run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, so run is going to be 5, and the rise is 3 boxes tall. So gradient. Now I'm going to write the formula So you remember rise over the run, and the rise, as you know, equals to 3, and the run is 4. Okay, next one. So let's look for places where we can place our crosshairs or cross lines. That's the first one. And here's the second one. Now, don't forget, we always start with a run. So we go horizontal first, and then we have a drop. So the run, let's count the number of boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the drop, and don't forget, it's going down, so negative. Now we're going to work out the gradient. So the gradient is given as the what? So that's going to be the, if you remember, the gradient is equal to the drop over the run. So it drops by -3 and the run is 6. And you can simplify this to -12. Why? Because if you divide 3 by itself, so that's 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, so this is how we work out the gradient. Now let's move on to what we have. Two lines. This time they are on the axis, but the method is the same. We are going to be moving for putting two what's that called? Crosshairs. So let's find out where we're going to place the crosshairs. Okay, so first of all, crosshairs. Let's say here, and the second one, yeah, that's where I can find another place. So we're going to draw a horizontal line and a vertical line. So rise equals to 3 or plus 3 if you want to. That one will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that will be for the run 6. So the gradient in that case, the gradient, okay, is equal to rise over the run, so 3 over 6, which is going to be equal to half. Okay, so second one, and that's going to be the same idea. So we're going to do that point here and another crosshairs here. So let's draw the triangle, and remember it's always horizontal first. So that's the run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals to 6, drops by 2. So we're going to say -2 here, and we write, so gradient, as long as you remember, you got to put the drop first. So that's -2 over 6, and you can simplify the fraction here. So 2 into 1, 2 in 6, 3. So that gives me -1 over 3. So I hope this gives you an idea on how to work out gradient without the axis or with the axis. Okay, so let's move on to now the next part, which is about construct. Now, we got two examples where we're going to find the equation of lines. Okay, so remember that you use the crosshair. Now, how are we going to do that? If you remember, we need to find two places that will help us work out the triangle. Okay, so what I could do is I can find a place. Okay, that's going to be the y-intercept itself. And somewhere up here, right, I draw the triangle with a run, remember, and then I go up, which is going to be the rise. So let's write down what the rise is going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 boxes up, and the run is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 5. Therefore, the gradient is going to be y over. Um, okay, so gradient equals to rise over the run, which is 4 over 5. And don't forget that this is the value for m. What about the y-intercept? y-intercept. Y-intercept is what? So we are looking at the y-intercept here, which is, this is the y-intercept. So this is 2 and this is equal to c. So if we have to write the equation y is equal to mx plus c, so we should replace the value of m by 4 over 5, and then we have x, and then c comes afterwards. And what is c? C is going to be 2. Okay, so let's see another example to improve this, to improve your understanding of how to write the equation of a line. So we're going to look for two places where we can place the crosshair. Now I'm scanning that drawing here. So, okay, there's one here and one there, right? Okay, so the run horizontal, okay, horizontal. So therefore, run equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the drop goes down. So drop, and don't forget, going down is negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. So we can say that the gradient m equals the drop, which is negative 4 over 5. Okay. The other one is the intercept that we need to look for. So intercept is right here. So y-intercept equals to, well, this is c, but it's equal to 1. Okay, c is equal to 1. So now y is equal to mx plus c. As you know, this is the equation of the line. And we got to find the value of m and c, which we've done already here. And that y, therefore, equals to negative 4 over 5 x. And then what is c? 1. So we're going to write plus 1. Here we go. We got the equation of two lines, one going uphill and the other one going downhill. So one has got a positive gradient, 4 over 5. The other one has a negative gradient, negative 4 over 5. So let's review our learning now. Today we had to interpret the equation y is equal to mx plus c. So what we have achieved here is that we achieved the following. We identify the gradient and the y-intercept in the equation. Secondly, we calculated the gradient and also found the y-intercept. And finally, what we also achieved is we constructed the equation of a line. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and our next video is going to be on graphs still, but this time we're going to show you how to draw straight line graphs. Okay? Until then, it's goodbye from me, and hope you'll be enjoying more video lessons to come.